It's a beautiful spring going into summer afternoon here in New York City. I'm here with Nathaniel. How are you?
I'm good, Raj. I'm good. What's good?
It's really good, man. It's really nice to meet in person.
Yeah, likewise,
I
man.
think what I love about the state of the internet, and a lot of people complain about like phone addiction and things like that, but I think for every negative thing that happens, there's always a real positive thing. And us connecting over the internet through Q at Humble Gorilla, the Humble Gorilla is a fantastic thing. I love your music. I just wanted to get some
Thank you.
time with you to talk about it. So for those of you, those people who don't know, maybe you can give us a quick introduction to Nathaniel, what your backstory is, and a little bit about the kind of music you create.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Nathaniel, R&B artist. Now I'm switching over, doing more pop too, just mixing it up. But I've been doing music since my whole life, pretty much. Grew up in church singing, in choirs, high school, junior high, always in the school plays and everything. I was also in an R&B group with my two brothers. Shouts to them, Xavier and Alexis. So over time, I've ended up doing records with some of the biggest artists, DJ Khaled, French Montana, Swiss Beats. But I've been always looking to find my own lane and create my own sound in New York. And one of the sounds that I attached to the most was more like the vintage R&B sound. So right now I have a project out called The Retro Tape, where I took a lot of the golden moment hip-hop beats and sampled them and pretty much added today's lingo, today's energy, today's swag, and just wanted to deliver something that could kind of bridge the gap between that younger audience and the older audience that feels like they're missing that R&B vintage sound.
Yeah, so myself and DJ Friction, we did a mixtape called The Golden Chamber,
Oh,
and it's
dope.
that whole golden era, like the early 90s, and it resonates well with me as, I'm in my late 30s. What is it about that era that resonates with you? Why did you choose that genre and that era of music to spit your latest R&B like verses over?
I feel like deeper than the sound itself was the culture at that time. The passion that went into the music, behind the scenes too, the culture, the energy, the fashion, like the vibe, the connection with the actual craft that artists had, whether it was the way they promoted music, getting out in the streets and touching the people, down to like some of the most classic records, like some of the earlier ideas, what a lot of people are biting now, were birthed in that era, in that time. So that's pretty much what connects, what resonates with me whenever I'm listening to those samples or recording records on top of them.
Yeah, I think anybody who's out there at the moment, just check out, go on Google, search Nathaniel, the Retro Tape Volume 1. It's on SoundCloud, it's free. It's incredibly enjoyable, especially if you lived that era the first time, which I did. One thing that you said that really resonated with me there is that the way that marketing and promotion was done in those days. So everyone knows about the street teams that Rockefeller used to have in the streets, especially Puffy. Mm-hmm. He was the king of it, No Limit and others. The first day I was here in New York, one thing that I thought was incredible is I was literally walking through Times Square, and there is a huge truck with a video wall on the side of the truck playing your music. And your music and your video is being presented directly to the people on the streets of New York. With all the capabilities of social media, digital media, influencer, and radio, why is it important for you to make sure that you've got the streets covered as well?
Well, the beauty of the social media age is the internet is crowded. It's saturated, but the streets is quiet. So if you got everybody online, they're pushing ads and doing everything where you have to be in your phone in order to catch the awareness. When we actually touch the streets and we walking up to people and we showing presence in real time, it's like now you're the one that stand out. Now you're like that missing element. Everybody else is online. You come in the streets, it's like all of a sudden, it's like wow. It's like in reverse. At one point, when everybody was in the streets and the internet was new, when you was that one artist that popped off on YouTube or whatever they had, so like Soulja Boy, like that moment, it was like, oh snap, he stood out. But now it's in reverse. The streets is completely quiet, but it's us now.
And as a marketing person, I've got to ask, like, any good case studies or good results you've seen from just having that physical presence with that truck driving around Midtown and downtown New York?
Oh, absolutely. It's something different about looking somebody in their eyes and talking to them about what you're doing. It's like campaigning. When somebody's running for president or somebody's running for like congressman, council member, they'll go door to door and slip these things. I don't know if they do this in, where you're from, but door to door or in your mailbox, they'll put these flyers and these pamphlets in your mailbox or under your door, so they literally touch you. Sometimes they'll have little press conferences in the park, but it's that person-to-person contact. So I would say like one of the great outcomes of that is every time we talk to somebody and they're looking at us and they see in our truck, they want to buy more, they want to purchase more from us on the spot. They definitely follow us. They definitely follow us. So the case studies is way more effective than that first contact online. Way more effective.
And another thing as well that I like about your approach, we had a quick conversation in the lobby before we started this interview, that you actually you're actually an entrepreneur. This is not the only thing that you do music-wise. You also have I don't know if it's fair to say a parallel life. I know that sometimes people say that about me, and it's quite a broad summary, but you also have other businesses as well, right? And you kind of funnel your energy and your efforts between your other businesses and your creative work. So tell us a little bit about the other worlds that you're in.
Well, the other world, I run an MSP, so I'm a managed service provider in New York City. So I provide IT services from all aspects, from security to development to like designing their offices, whatever the case is, any IT need, that's what my company does.
How important is that to you, though, to have those dual lives? And maybe you can speak on, for any up-and-coming artists, maybe why that approach might be a good approach for them as well. Is it as simple as just hedging your bets, or is there a real value in that diversity for you?
Well, for me, there's two parts to it. Other than the fact that they're both my passions, music and IT. Yeah. As a kid, I would be breaking computers and fixing them while singing. Yeah. So that was two things happening for me at the same time. So I just decided to build on both. Yeah. So when I wake up in the morning, whatever I got to do, whatever I'm doing is something that I love. That's one. But just in terms of the parallels of just being able to survive for survival, music is a crazy gamble. Yeah. To put all your chips in music, especially with how crazy this market is with this industry, you got to have something else. That's just, I urge anybody that's in the music world, I'm not saying you should, I'm saying you have to have something else. You have to. And then one more thing about it. This is the third thing. Nice caveat. One of the things about being an independent entrepreneur, now you have more leverage when you control your own revenue. So let's say you do want to get a deal, or you do take some type of agreement with somebody. Since you have your own budget because of your other business or whatever you start, it gives you leverage. You don't fall under like control of somebody else's money. Yeah. So that's really important.
And it's a wonderful day to be having this discussion, because just today it was officially announced that Jay-Z has become the first hip hop billionaire. Like as a solo person.
Shouts to Hov, man.
Yeah. So him and his wife Beyonce together have way surpassed billionaire status as a couple, but he himself is the first hip hop billionaire, even beating Dre to the punch, because Dre's payout from Beats didn't make him a billionaire. 800 mil, yeah.
800 mil.
So, and so one of the articles that I saw was the approximate breakdown of all of Hov's revenues, and it's amazing how many of his revenue categories were non-music related. Yeah. They were in alcohol, food, Rock Nation, sports management. And so I fully agree. You know, myself as somebody who used to DJ full time and now does it now and again, I get as much fulfillment. But I think it's important as well that other job that you have is connected to your passion, right? Like
that's right.
You've got to be able to get as much enjoyment out of the 9 to 5 in the day that you do out of the 5 to 9. So what's coming up next for you? I mean, Retro Tape Volume 1. Does that mean that we're going to get a Volume 2, or does that mean that we're going to go into a different direction? And maybe before you answer that, for the fans of music from the 90s era, just talk about some of the samples you used on Retro Tape Volume 1.
Oh, absolutely. Retro Tape. So some of the samples I did I Get Around from Tupac. Yeah. I did Mobb Deep. Yeah. Shook Ones. Yeah. The popular record Tear It Up, which is out everywhere now, it's sampled by Gangstar. Yeah. The song is Mass Appeal by Gangstar.
One of my all-time... When I heard that record, immediately I liked your music.
Thank you.
And that might have been the first one I heard, and I was like, whoever this kid is, he's making records for me.
Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. And I really appreciate the fact that when I hear that and I hear that a lot, the fact of people saying, this is for me, this is a sound that I feel like I can connect to.
Yeah, yeah. I'm 7,000 miles away.
Yo, that's
like
crazy.
I'm in Dubai, and I'm like, I'm interested. Like, I need to know more. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, my fight now is to connect with you. Like, you're my audience. Yeah. People who can connect to my sound. Instead of trying to convince people who don't really connect to it, I'd rather connect to the ones who's like, oh snap, this is that sound that's missing that I can connect to. That's who I'm looking for.
And it's finding your tribe, right?
That's right.
Like it's finding the people that care about you and not worrying about everybody else. Like Seth Godin has this amazing saying, people like us do stuff like this.
Right.
And it's like, it's for us, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And where do we go next? Like what comes next? Volume 2 or what?
Well, next I'm actually dropping an original project called Limitless. Yeah. I'm going to make the Retro Tape mixtape series. So I'm definitely going to do a volume 2. Yeah. But now I want to kind of like drop some, like a different project. No samples. Yeah. But still keeping the same good, authentic sound. Yeah. But outside of that, I also have records internationally. Like I have 2 records that's on the top 5 in Germany. One is with a DJ called DJ Climax. Shout out to Climax and DJ Ray G. One record is called Baila, and the other one is To the Top. And they more like poppy. You know what I'm saying? Then I have another record coming out with an EDM DJ. So it's like different things that I'm placing in different worlds. I got a record coming with Tony Mendez. We working on. Shout out to Tony Mendez, Dubai.
Yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, so, you know, that's pretty much what's next. I'm spreading out a bit,
Yeah.
but the next album is going to be an original before the Retro Tape Volume 2.
And who inspires you?
Who inspires me right now?
Because your sound is very classic. It's
Thank you.
it's very croony. It's very relaxed. It's kind of like it sets a mood for those people who are going to leave this and go and hear him singing. It's a very classic,
Thank you.
clean, raw, unfiltered sound. You know what I mean? So who inspired you to create that sound?
I would say, it's almost like everybody had, you know, some part in that. You know, everybody, like, listening to the music industry as a whole right now, I'm already connected to that sound from growing up listening to the music. But what made me go with it now, which is listening to the whole music industry as a whole and seeing that void. So I would say the inspiration came from the entire music industry. Like, thank you for keeping that void, for creating that void, that opening, to make me really realize, like, I need to create a retro tape.
But then maybe a better question then is, rather than who inspired you, because I hear a lot of inspiration in music. Who do you listen to when you're at home? Like Sunday morning, you got one of those Sunday mornings where you got a clear 90 minutes to make breakfast. It's just you in the house. What are you switching on?
It's the weirdest thing. I think, it's hard to say because I don't have like a set playlist. I don't have go-to artists like that.
Yeah.
I might sound crazy to you. I don't have Apple Music. I don't have these streaming services. I don't pull up too much music. But different music hit me at different times, and I may just listen to what's there. But I would say Jay-Z is definitely one of my inspirations. Music Soul Child is one of my inspirations.
Yeah, all-time music.
Yeah,
Soul Child.
you know, but
you like Raphael Sadiq?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That sound. That's
Yeah.
an incredible sound. Yeah.
For me, he's one of the greatest. I think it's crazy how Raphael Sadiq. I mean, his first record came out. He already had records out in the 80s, but like by 1991, he had Mopreem Shakur. I had Mopreem on the show as well.
Oh, dope.
And you're talking about like over a 30-year career and still
kicking out hits, writing for a lot of people too, kicking out some bangers.
But still not mentioned in the same conversation as like the Chris Browns and the Neos,
Yeah.
even though he's so impactful. Like, it's unbelievable. D'Angelo, is that your sound?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
He dropped the project not too long ago too, like about a year ago. He came back with something that was pretty dope.
It's so crazy. I'm saying all these artists because one thing that I really enjoyed about my New York trip is going about from bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant, and literally hearing Raphael, Prince, D'Angelo, Music Soul. I've not heard any Dwele or Amp Fiddler yet, but like, I just like the fact that, you know, New York is such a musical place, and it's so nice that so much of that energy is accumulated in you as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so for those people that are out there that want to find out more about you, where would you recommend that they go?
The easiest way I would say, of course, social media, Instagram. You know, at Nathaniel online is my Instagram. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Google, like you said, Nathaniel. But then I also have an app that I developed. It's called the Nathaniel app. You can go to the App Store on Android or iPhone and just search for Nathaniel. And if you happen to be in Europe, you know, in August, we're going on tour from August 22nd to September 2nd. We're going to be in Berlin, Germany. We're going to be in Munich. We're going to be in Frankfurt. So.
Oh, wow. So you're going to tear up. Well, I mean, Germany's a great market. They're going to love what you do because there's some of the realest hip-hop heads out there.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, well, I wish you all the best with it, Nathaniel. So thank you so much for taking time out. I know what a New York Minute means and how busy it is out here.
Thank you
for
man.
jumping on the show. I can't wait for all of you to discover more about Nathaniel, listen to his music, and as you mentioned, just check out all of his social media sites. It's Raj Kotecha with Nathaniel right here in Central Park, New York City. We out. Peace.
Peace.